Hey, it's Mike Serra, creativebossnowblog.com, with Save the Manual Edition. Well, I do talk about social media marketing for car dealerships and social media marketing for the automotive industry in general. I want to start implementing topics on autos, cars, and the industry itself. Being Boston Auto Blog and all, I think that it's wise for me to expand and expound upon other topics in the automotive industry, mainly because there's not many blogs out there in my area that actually talk about cars and actually give the consumer what they want. Car enthusiasts are my target today, and it's going to be about the manual transmissions. BMW is getting rid of manual transmissions in their performance cars, and as disappointing as that sounds, there's actually a explanation behind this. And being a car enthusiast, you get caught up in seeing it from a car enthusiast standpoint, but I am going to try shedding light on the business side of it and the marketing side of it. Right now, car brands are seeing about 9% of sales being manual transmissions. That's a very minuscule number compared to how vast the automotive industry is. And because of that, that's why they're moving away from the manual transmission. This isn't just about manual transmissions. This also will include this includes where we're heading, in the future, which is autonomous cars. I think that if we look at how convenience packages and technology packages now on lower trim cars, we're seeing that people are more concerned about technology in their vehicles more than actually driving it itself. And that's why manuals are dying. It's a depressing day to see that, and it's going to be even worse when we start seeing these autonomous vehicles on the road. It's a day I don't want to ever experience. Unfortunately, I think we're a handful of years away from seeing this. So from a business standpoint, BMW is seeing that with 9% of car sales being manual transmissions, they have to start looking at other markets, which is the 90 to 95% of people who do drive automatics, which is why they're moving in that direction. It may make you scratch your head, but they're not concerned about the car enthusiast industry anymore. They're more concerned about the average driver. And maybe this is where it gets interesting, because it's called their tagline is the ultimate driving machine. And if you think about manuals, that's how you really experience a car. So ultimate driving machine, not having a manual transmission, that's interesting. However, manual transmissions these days are getting worse fuel economy than automatics, which is why BMW is moving in this direction. With gear shifts being faster, with paddle shifters, this is where that all comes in, and I think this is why they're going in this direction. I've talked about this in an article that I'm going to be posting on LinkedIn, on my blog on Boston Auto Blog, and Medium.com, that there's always, in every business sector, there's always a company that comes in and saves the traditional consumer from being lost and having to find some other form of product to buy. And Ford is that company, because Ford is putting a manual transmission in their RS, and they're putting a drift mode button. So that is the ultimate driver's car right there. Alfa Romeo is another one. Their new sedan, the Giulia, is going to have a manual transmission with rear-wheel drive. So there's always companies that are going to come in and tailor to a very minor market, and those two companies are one of them that are going to be doing that. Now, Alfa Romeo's reliability history is up in the air, but Alfa has always marketed and built their cars off of passion and soul. Now, if you watch Top Gear, I'm going to have to put some coins into a box somewhere, and because those are like Italian swear words. But they're always into the passion and soul, which, that's why I love the Alfa Romeo 4C. I just think it's a beautiful car. Doesn't even have power steering. It's such an a retro vehicle, and because it's so light, the way they built it, gets, I think it's like 4.6 seconds to 60. So there's always those companies that will come in and save the day, and I think Ford and Alfa Romeo are one of those. And Subaru with the STI, there's always that market that's gonna work fine. And I think that's just why we're seeing these performance markets pop up everywhere. Where I think recently Hyundai is now testing out a new Elantra. I think it's the i30, which could compete with the GTI and Ford Focus RS. So we're seeing a new market, which I believe that this will tailor to the manual transmission enthusiasts and purists. Now, unfortunately, isn't it a sad day that now you're going to be tailored to? So now the whole consumer market is now more about automatics. So now you're just a tailored market. You're a niche market, and it's a depressing day because we're seeing where this automotive market is heading, and it's not a day that I really want to see. Where now we're going to have autonomous cars on the road in a few years. This is not what I want to see at all, and I know that a lot of you guys don't want to either. But this is why this is happening, and I just want to shed some light on that because not many people actually see it from that standpoint. Unfortunately, the options are you're going to have to buy a used BMW, or you're going to have to buy a new brand that does tailor to manual transmission enthusiasts. It's sad. It really is. Now we're seeing more track day cars, and I think that this is also where it ties in. Some people believe that there'll be a day where, you'll have your autonomous car, but you'll have your track day car where you just drive around a track, and that's where you get your fill-in for self-driving. However, I don't really believe that's going to be a reality. Only because now living in Boston, how many tracks are there around here? Now I know in Europe it's different; they have tons of tracks, but here it's different. So I think maybe we're gonna have a different experience with that. But I do believe that there is a purpose to performance vehicles all of a sudden that are popping up everywhere, and with Honda coming out with the Type R. So now there's different markets that are going to start popping up everywhere. And performance vehicles are one of them. Similar to how we're seeing CUVs everywhere all of a sudden. That even Porsche is now doing a CUV with the Macan, and you have an SUV with the Cayenne. So all these car brands are posturing and positioning themselves to move into certain markets, and that's why manual transmissions are kind of going away. Is that most of these car companies are now they're moving to markets with bigger consumer markets and higher sales volume. So it really has nothing to do with the fact that that car enthusiasts have this this desire to drive a manual. It's now become more of that these car companies just want more money, more sales volume, and we're seeing that in sales every month, where the sales just keep growing and growing and growing. There's going to be a day where we're going to start seeing those slow down. They can't keep growing at the rate they are. So just putting some shedding some light on that. This is why we're seeing that. It's just where the market is heading. I think I said it earlier that this is why we're seeing technology packages and lower trims, and even we're seeing backup now. Backup assist is now going to be standard. I believe there's some legislation that's now required in all vehicles, so that makes sense. But there's now Bluetooth in vehicles, so now we're really tailoring to younger markets that want technology over driving experience, and unfortunately that's where we're heading. I wish there was a way that we could have a car that has it all, that has both the driving experience and technology, so that we get both the best of both worlds. And I think that's where, unfortunately, why car prices are now hovering around $33,000 for medium prices. So that's why we're seeing the prices soar, is because now they're putting way too many options on these cars, and to get everything you want, you're gonna have to pay premium pricing. I do believe, though, that the Save the Manual campaign, unfortunately, will be all for naught. I do believe that we'll see a very minor market for manual transmissions, which is why you're gonna have to start buying used, which isn't always bad because you can customize the car to your liking. and many people do that already, and they've always have been. So that's really that's why I made this video, because I also want to talk about topics in the automotive industry, and manual transmissions being that hot topic. I want to talk about it, but also shedding light on that from a business standpoint, because I do talk about marketing with my Boston Auto blog posts. So if you're interested, you can follow me on BostonAutoblog.com, Twitter at BostonAutoblog, Instagram at BostonAutoblog, and on Facebook, Boston Autoblog. Not too many blogs in Boston actually talk about cars, which is why I feel the need to actually talk about this now. Especially where you always see from a global and a national standpoint, but there's no one there to actually talk about it from a local standpoint. And while I did talk about it about a national standpoint today, in the future I'm going to start really localizing it and reaching out to the local car enthusiast community. I don't know when I'm going to make my next video, but I'm going to stay on top of all the automotive news and really start tailoring to multiple sectors in the automotive world, including car enthusiasts and car dealerships. So until next time, see ya. Thanks.